Attention passionate Cleveland, BROWNS FANS. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Cleveland Browns' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Cleveland Browns fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Cleveland, BROWNS FANS. Let's get to the news now, folks. If you've been paying attention to the NFL offseason, you know that the Cleveland Browns are once again at the center of buzz, but not just because of their roster moves or draft picks. No, this time, it's about a young quarterback who's been making waves even before he officially steps onto the field. That player, of course, is Shedeur Sanders, the highly touted rookie quarterback who recently joined the Browns, and who has been the subject of intense discussion both inside and outside the league. What makes this story so intriguing is not just his talent, but the background that's been shaping his path, specifically the influence of his father, the legendary Deion Sanders, also known as Coach Prime. Shedeur Sanders made headlines during the pre-draft process, and even more so after landing with Cleveland, a franchise that's looking to rebuild and re-establish itself as a playoff contender. But his journey hasn't been a smooth ride. From the moment he entered the NFL, there's been a lot of talk about his development, his readiness, and the unique parenting style of his father, which some critics say may have both helped and hindered his growth as a player. And recently, Cam Newton, one of the most respected quarterbacks to ever play the game, spoke openly about Shedeur's development and about the influence of Deion Sanders on his son's career. Cam Newton's comments stirred quite a bit of controversy, especially because he pointed out how Deion's hands-on, sometimes overprotective approach might have impacted Shedeur's draft stock and early NFL journey. Newton, in a recent episode of his show, didn't hold back when discussing how Deion's involvement has shaped Shedeur's mentality. He mentioned that Deion, as a father, has a very unique way of parenting, one that's very engaged and, in some cases, overbearing. Newton acknowledged that Deion Sanders' intentions are good, that he's trying to shield his kids from harm, but also warned that this kind of parenting can sometimes create hurdles when players need to adapt to the professional game. It's important to understand that Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, is one of the most iconic figures in NFL history, not just for his incredible skills on the field, but also for his larger-than-life personality and coaching style. When he transitioned into coaching at Jackson State and then Colorado, his approach was always intense, passionate, and deeply involved. His parenting style, especially with Shedeur and his other children, has been a reflection of that. While many admire his dedication and the way he pushes his kids to excel, critics argue that this level of involvement can sometimes lead to a lack of independence or resilience in players when they face adversity at the next level. Now, Newton's critique isn't just about Deion as a parent. It's also about how that approach influences a player's mental toughness, decision-making, and ability to handle the pressures of the NFL. Shedeur, despite being a rookie, has shown flashes of brilliance during training camp with Cleveland, impressing coaches and teammates alike with his arm talent, football IQ, and leadership qualities. He's a confident young man, and his college career at Colorado and Jackson State proved that he's got the talent to be a star. But transitioning to the NFL is a different ballgame altogether. The speed, the complexity, the physicality, these are things he's going to have to adapt to quickly if he wants to see playing time early in the season. And that brings us to the current situation with the Browns. The team's coaching staff, led by head coach Kevin Stefanski, has made it clear that they're taking a cautious approach with Shedeur Sanders. While fans and the media are eager to see him take the field as the starting quarterback, the Browns have announced that they'll be leaning on veteran Joe Flacco for the season opener. Flacco, with his extensive experience and leadership skills, gives the team a steady hand that can guide the offense in the early weeks. Meanwhile, Shedeur and Dillon Gabriel, another promising rookie, will be getting their reps later in the season. It's a smart move, especially considering that the Browns are aiming for consistency and stability after some turbulent seasons in recent years. But make no mistake, if Shedeur gets the chance to start, he's got the talent to make an immediate impact. His college stats speak volumes. He threw for over 500 yards and 30 touchdowns at Colorado, and he was a prolific passer at Jackson State, where he showcased his ability to read defenses and deliver accurate throws under pressure. His arm strength, combined with his mobility and football intelligence, makes him one of the most exciting quarterback prospects in this draft class. And for Browns fans, the hope is that he'll develop into the franchise quarterback they've been waiting for, helping Cleveland return to its winning ways and making a real Super Bowl push. But of course, there's always a lot of speculation and debate about how rookies will adapt to the NFL, especially quarterbacks who are thrown into the fire early. Some analysts believe Shedeur has the skills and maturity to handle the pressure from week one, while others think it's better for him to sit back, learn from the sidelines, and develop his game gradually. The Browns are in a unique position. They have a veteran in Flacco who can mentor him, and a roster that's hungry for success. If everything clicks, Cleveland could have a franchise quarterback on their hands sooner than expected. But if the transition proves too tough too quickly, fans will have to exercise patience and trust the coaching staff to make the right decision at the right time. Now, let's talk about the bigger picture. The AFC North is one of the most competitive divisions in the NFL, featuring powerhouses like the Cincinnati Bengals, with Joe Burrow leading the charge, and the Baltimore Ravens, always a tough out with Lamar Jackson. The Steelers, under Kenny Pickett, are also looking to make a leap this season. So any shift in quarterback dynamics or team strategy could have a ripple effect across the division. If Shedeur Sanders manages to develop quickly and start early, the Browns could take a significant step forward, challenging the Bengals and Ravens for division supremacy. On the other hand, if he's not ready, Cleveland might have to rely on steady veterans, which could slow down their progress. This situation also raises questions about the long-term future of Cleveland's quarterback position. Is Shedeur Sanders the guy who can lead this team deep into January and beyond? Or is he more of a developmental project that needs patience? The Browns have a rich history of finding and developing quarterbacks, from Bernie Kosar to Tim Couch, and more recently, Baker Mayfield and Baker Mayfield's successor, Deshaun Watson. Every quarterback has faced different hurdles, and Cleveland fans know that patience and perseverance are part of the process. But what's clear is that the team is betting big on Shedeur's potential, and the coaching staff is eager to see what he can do under NFL game conditions. Now, let's not forget the wider NFL context. The league is always evolving, with new offensive schemes, innovative defenses, and a constant search for the next superstar quarterback. Shedeur Sanders, with his pedigree and talent, fits the mold of the modern NFL passer, athletic, intelligent, and capable of making plays outside the pocket. If he can harness his skills and adapt quickly, he could become a key piece of Cleveland's future. And fans should remember that the Browns' front office and coaching staff are known for their strategic planning, so don't be surprised if they have a carefully laid out plan for his development. And speaking of development, let's talk about the importance of mentorship and experience. Having Joe Flacco, a quarterback who has played in multiple playoff games and has a Super Bowl ring, is invaluable for a rookie like Shedeur. His presence in the QB room, along with the guidance from offensive coordinators and veteran players, will be crucial for his growth. This isn't just about throwing balls in practice. It's about understanding defenses, managing game situations, and building the mental toughness needed to succeed in the NFL. Shedeur's journey is just beginning, and while the critics and skeptics will be watching closely, so will the Browns' coaching staff, who see his potential and are eager to see him flourish. Now, returning to the broader picture, Cleveland fans have every reason to be optimistic. The franchise has been through ups and downs, but the talent and potential are there. The defense, led by stars like Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward, remains formidable. The offensive line is solid, and the running game, with Nick Chubb returning from injury, is one of the best in the league. What the Browns need now is consistent quarterback play, something that Shedeur Sanders might be able to provide in the future. The key is patience and trust in the process, as with every young quarterback coming into the league. It's a long road, but the Cleveland faithful have seen their team rise from tough times before, and there's every reason to believe they can do it again. As we look ahead to the upcoming season, the narrative around Shedeur Sanders is only going to intensify. Will he get his shot early? Will he seize the moment if given the opportunity? Or will he have to wait for his turn and learn behind a seasoned veteran? These are questions that only time will answer, but one thing is for sure. Cleveland fans should be excited about the potential that this young quarterback brings to the table. The big stage awaits, and if he can live up to even a fraction of the hype, the Browns could be on the cusp of something special. This story is about more than just a rookie quarterback. It's about a franchise, a city, and a fan base that's hungry for success. It's about the journey of a young man who's been shaped by a legendary father and who now has the chance to carve out his own